This call is from a federal prison.
I have spent my whole entire life in prison. I have only been free since the age of 9 until now. I'm 39 years old. I have only been free for approximately 9.5 months. I've been locked up this whole time.
I was very unfamiliar with prison ministry when I was first asked to do prison ministry, and it was right as I was ordained. And I really didn't know what I was getting into. I had seen shows as a kid, on what prison was like, and so I remember going to FCI in Inglewood for the first time and having to go through about 12 different doors, clanging shut behind me, and guards kind of looking at me sternly. And when I got to where the prisoners were and prepared to start celebrating Mass, I was just amazed by their fervor, their desire for the sacraments. They were truly thankful that we were there to celebrate, that we were bringing the Eucharist, maybe more so than in any parish setting I've ever seen. And so from the very beginning, it was something that I just fell in love with, and because the desire of these people to have Jesus Christ in their life, despite whatever mistakes they made, was just incredibly, incredibly powerful.
When I was a postulant, there was a possibility of doing prison ministry, but I had a few run-ins with the law when I was younger, and they actually said I couldn't come in at that point. And later on, when I was doing my theology studies, they asked me to go to the county jail in San Antonio, and I was like, well, they wouldn't let me go before, but we can try it and see what they say. And so they let me in this time, and so that's where I started ministering to people. But when I first went in, when I was doing my internship, I brought that up and told them I had some run-ins with the law, and I think they certainly respected the honesty of that. I wasn't coming to them as somebody that's judging them or any of those kind of things, if that makes sense. So there's various places that I do ministry. One of the places I do ministry is at the federal prison, and there is 2 levels there. There's a medium security and a low security. Then the Colorado Department of Corrections has 2 facilities that I currently work at. One is the women's prison. It's a maximum security women's prison. Also part of the Colorado Department of Corrections is a diagnostic facility that's right next door to the women's prison. That is where everybody goes right after they've been sentenced, before they determine which prison they're going to go to. And so they go through a process to determine which prison they're going to go to, which level of security they will need. Also part of that facility is an infirmary. And so the infirmary houses, people that are sick, but also people that have terminal illness, people that are at the end of their life. And so I'll visit the people in the infirmary at various times. Then there's the Immigration Detention Center. Obviously, this is where people that are facing deportation or various issues. There's a lot of people there that are Catholic, and so I have 5 masses there a week, and that doesn't even get all the different people that would like to have Mass every week. So I have to rotate through the different pods in order to get to everybody. And there's various ministries that are possible for people that are incarcerated. Kind of my primary focus is getting people the sacraments. So if I can have Mass in a facility, I'll do that. Otherwise, bringing communion to them if that's possible. Certainly hearing confessions when I think pretty much everywhere I go that's allowed. Sometimes it's a little difficult to find a appropriate place, where it's private, because obviously in prisons and jails, it's not a very private place. If needed, I can provide anointing or whatever sacramental needs are there, and just be with the people as they're going through a difficult time. And we also have several people that are going through RCIA there. So one of the inmates is assisting and leading the people through the RCIA process. And this Easter, there will be 3 people that come into the church at the main prison, and then later on the one at the camp. There's one at the camp that'll also come into the church.
The reason friars go to people in prison is because we're supposed to be with the people who are most marginalized, the people who are forgotten by everyone else. And if there's anyone forgotten by everyone, it's prisoners. Oftentimes their families forget about them. Society completely forgets about them. They're just shut away in a little box as if they don't exist anymore. What a hell that is to live that way.
I think through the ministry, there's this bond that's formed between us that minister and those that we're ministering to, that there's this mutual care for each other. One of my favorite stories of when I was ministering before, during my internship, was we were doing some sharing with the RCIA group, and it came out that I was talking a bit about my diaconate ordination that was coming up. When the women found out, they all told me that they were going to make me a prison cake. This was something that touched my heart so much. They don't have much of anything. They're in prison, and then they want to take what the little that they have and make me a cake in order to celebrate my diaconate ordination. It was just something that gave me so much joy.
If we're truly going to be the church, if we're truly going to be the body of Jesus Christ acting in human history, we have to go to these people. Right? It's a moral imperative for us, and to bring them the fraternity that we share, to embrace them as our brothers, as Francis did, the most marginalized, to proclaim Jesus Christ to them. That's essential.
Certainly when I was starting, it was like, oh, I'm going to go and serve these people. I'm going to be, it's something I can do to help them. But in ministering to them, they also minister to me, and I also learn a lot from them. And the Spirit is present there, and so we both grow in the process.
I had just recently tried to kill myself. I was miserable. I never knew what love and joy was until I met you. People really need to understand that what you people do is extremely grateful and powerful and strong for people like me that are in prison.
It's something that really, it feeds me as well, One of the things that our constitutions talk about is that the poor are our teachers, and I think that's really the case. What we receive in ministry and what we give in ministry, I think we receive so much more than what we give.